Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for Fun Fold Friday, July 24th, 2026. This week we are making a fun fold that has a pop-out gift card holder. So I put a Starbucks card in there and then it closes back up. And of course I'm using the Sweet Words and Labels bundle. I love these dies and the sayings, the sentiments. And then we are going to use the Sweet Old Friends dies, just the dies, because we're going to die cut these guys from the designer series paper. Very minimal stamping on today's card. So if you want my project sheet, just remember to join my email. I have all the measurements for you, but if you're not on my email list and you'd like to take a screenshot of the measurements, go ahead and do that now. And in my email, it will have the video link. I don't have it right now because we're recording it, but it will have the video link and you get this prior to the video posting. And then there's always my shopping link, or you could scan the QR code to shop and get the products that I use. So these are our measurements. I'm gonna move this along here. We're gonna use the two new in colors, Hydrangea Hue and Barely Blush. I'm using that Hydrangea Hue ribbon and the in color dots, which happen to be on back order. They're actually supposed to come in a few days, so you might want to check that out if you don't have them. And we are using the Silly Old Bear designer series paper. So I'm going to use this pattern here because it's got all the little characters on there. And then I've already cut out my pieces from this. Like I said, we're going to die cut. So I cut out the piglet, and I think we're using this Winnie the Pooh, and where's the one with Pooh and Piglet? And then I cut out a couple of honey jars. I should have, oh, it's right here, this one. We have this one, I cut this out. But you can cut all these characters. They all of these, on this page, I believe there is a die cut for everything. So you don't have to stamp. Like I said, very minimal stamping. So I did cut those pieces out. I believe this should be enough here on that. And let's get started with our cutting. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Let me move this stuff out of the way. Here's all my little, I went and cut them out of the designer series paper so you didn't have to sit there and watch me cut it all. So Hydrangea Hue is going to be our card base. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to cut this at 5 1/2 on the long side. And I said 4 1/4, right? You gotta make sure. And 4 1/4. Oh yeah, this is just the card base. So that's our card base. And then next we need 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. So we already know that this is 8 1/2. And we're gonna cut it at 4 1/4. And we are going to score that at 4 1/4. I hope I got this right. 4 1/4. Yeah, because this is 8 1/2. Yes, 4 1/4. I'm always second guessing myself. This is our mini card. Well, it's going to be like the inner card, the inside card. And then we need 3 7/8 by 6 1/4 of Hydrangea Hue. So 3 7/8 by 6 1/4. There's the quarter right there. I can barely see it with my lighting. And then we are going to score this at 3/4 of an inch. And this is going to be our pop-out mechanism, is what I'm calling it. And then we need a 1 inch by 4 3/4. I'm going to cut this at 4 3/4. This was left from the original piece of cardstock. And then 1 inch. And then we are going to score this at a 1/4 inch. This is very small. Get that blade out of there. A 1/4 inch at each end. So flip it over and get the 1/4 inch. And this is going to hold our puppet mechanism down. So like so. All right, so there's all that. Should we do the, I guess we might as well do all of the cutting. So 4 1/8, and then of course I will explain to you where all these pieces are going. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. This is going to be our front layer. And we're also going to use this for a die cut. If you don't want to use it for a die cut, just use it as your layer. But I'm going to show you a way to use it for your die cut so that we're not wasting, but you know, we can utilize this cardstock. And then this is going to be our 3 3/8 by 4 1/8. So I'm going to cut it this way. 3 3/8 is going to be is 3 3/8 the width? No. 3 3/8 is the height. I should know that. By 4 1/8. Got myself all confused here. And that's going to be our designer series paper on the front layer. And then we're going to need a piece of hydrangea hue for the inside, which is going to be 4. It doesn't matter, I guess, that I turned it. It's going to be 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. That's our front, our inside layer. Okay, and then we need just a 1 inch of this one. 1 inch by 3 7/8, and we're going to use this as our pocket on the inside. Okay. I think I can move that trimmer out of the way because it looks like we have all of our pieces. Let me just get all these little tidbits out of here. And we can, so we have all our measurements. Make sure and get a good screenshot of this if you need it, if you're not on my email list. Okay, so let me see if I remember how to put this together. So actually, I got this idea from, something by G, maybe Cards by G. I can't remember. And I feel horrible because I should get her name. I think it is actually her and her sister make the cards. But I just happened to see it. So this is our card. And we're going to glue this to our card base, our single sheet. And this here is actually, we're doing the back of the card. I think it's Cards by G. And I'm pretty sure she's also here in New Mexico, but not like near me. So we're going to line this up at the bottom here, and then glue it. And then we just want to make sure that we are good. Then we have the, looks like mine might be a little bit over. Okay, so then we have our mechanism. I called it the mechanism. Remember, we scored this at 3/4 inch. This is a 3 7/8 by 6 1/4. So we're going to add some liquid glue to this. And this we're going to glue at the top. And you are going to have a border on each side. So probably a 1/4 inch on each side. You can move this up. if you still got time to wiggle it, make sure it's even. Mine, of course, I pushed it. I pushed one side just slightly too high. It's not too bad. All right, so again, this is all the back of the card. This is not the front of the card. This is the back. This is just where we're getting that fun pop out. So now this is what I'm calling the pop out holder, where we scored a 1/4 inch, and we're gonna put some glue on these 1/4 inch tabs, folds, whatever you like to call them. And we're gonna glue it again at the bottom, but on each side. Mine, I think mine's a little bit, I'm gonna move it over because I'm not sure what happened here, but this is it seems a little bit longer. And this is to tuck this inside, like so. So, and then this is now gonna be the front of the card. See, mine's a little tiny bit too long. I must have did my measurement wrong, but it's going to pop out like so. So, because I don't like the looks of that, let's see if I can trim it real quick. I must have made my card just a wee bit too big. All right, so there, now it's like, you can't even tell. All right, so like I said, now we're going to decorate. So this is going to be our front layer, and I still have all these fuzzies. I haven't changed my blade. I don't know why. Actually, my blades are right in a drawer below is here. So this is gonna go like this, and then this piece is gonna go right here. So basically you want about 1 inch and 1 inch. If I measured this correctly, you should have 1 inch on each side. So just kind of glancing at that, if you want, you could get a ruler and watch. Let's go 1 inch. Let me get a pencil. And this is just for your sake. And then we can go here at the top, line up and do 1 inch. And let's see if I did my measurements. I did pretty good. I cut the paper so that you would have 1 inch on each side. So by you making those markings, now here's where I was talking about, we can utilize this paper. So we're gonna use Barely Blush ink. We're gonna use this stamp. And this is from the Sweet Words and Labels stamp. So you want to get this in between those two lines for sure. If you could center it, all the better. Because then we know that our paper, a designer series paper, is going to cover it. Cover that. We're going to make a hole because we're going to cut that out now. I'm going to move this for a second so I can get our cut and emboss machine in here. And again, if this is too complicated, don't have to do it. Just cut you an extra piece to die cut your oval. And this is gonna go just like so. I would probably advise you to make those 1 inch marks. It just gives you a better guide. And then, shall we die cut? Since I have this out, let's get all these little guys. So there's Pooh sitting. Like I said, this designer series paper has all these little die cuts for this. I know I'm gonna have to tape because these guys are gonna move all over. It always happens when you have a lot of dies. That one looks okay. Here's our little pot of honey, and here's our Pooh and Piglet. So I made this card for a friend because her and I love to spend time together and we like to go have our coffee. We are coffee girls. So let's get these guys out. Oops, and I'm just gonna have to run the honey through one more time because we need 2 honey buckets. Let's put that over here. I better check that. I think it moved on me, even with the tape. So there's this. I chose this Piglet because it's so funny, because it's like, Pooh's gonna be having his honey and, you know, Piglet could care less. He's blowing, oh my gosh, what are those called? I don't know why I want to call it a daffodil, and I totally know it's not a daffodil. Ah, somebody help me. What's the name of them? But anyway, Piglet could care less. He's just lollygagging with his, his things that he blows. I can't not think of the name. Oh my goodness. Okay, so back to our card where we cut this. So here is again the front. The inside is there. This is the front. So before we glue this, we're gonna stamp old friends are the best friends, because I have had some friends for many, 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 many years. I am lucky. So we're gonna stamp that on the top in hydrangea hue. So now we can glue this on so that we have that tiny little border. I like to just add these pieces for just that little bit of color. And that's why I like to do die cuts in the center of them. So it's double usage. So now you can either erase these. You know you're gonna have 1 inch at top and 1 inch at bottom. Or you can leave them. The only reason I'm suggesting we erase this one is so now this, I'm just gonna get this and just fold it. There's no certain length or, you know, and then we're gonna fold it back to where the V or the point hits where you folded. Makes sense? So just fold. Again, no right or wrong. And then we're going to, the point hits the bottom of the fold. So now this is gonna go, we need this to go up. And see how that's showing? I have another eraser that's probably better. That's why I suggest that you erase it. But we're gonna put embellishments too. So it's gonna go like that. But you can also, you could have made a mark here and you could have made a mark here. That way they're not there. And we're covering up that hole. Nobody will ever know that you cut an oval out of there, right? So we're just gonna glue this. Glue, glue, glue. And where's my marks? And that is gonna go right like that. And now our oval, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our die cuts with some dimensionals. Like I said, Pooh's over, oops, Pooh's over here sitting, enjoying his honey, because we're gonna add a pot of honey in his lap or his hands. Piglet can care less. He or she, I think Piglet's a she, right? And you know, is, I still can't think of the name of those little critters. Dandelion, that's what it is. I wanted to say daffodil. It's a dandelion. He's blowing his dandelion. Well, Pooh is over here wanting honey. So there's several different colors of honey buckets. So whichever you choose to put in his hand is fine. And I think I'll put the blue one right there in his hands. And we're gonna put this one right over here. And then now we need some more dimensionals. And had I knew I was gonna run out, I would have grabbed some more, but you know, we use all of these as well. And oops, I took the whole thing off instead of just the backing. And this is gonna go right kind of tucked in here. Oops. So on these, you don't have to glue down, but if you want, I didn't because I just like the looks of it, but you know, you can burnish it really well so that it'll stay. Just wanted, again, to give it some texture. So there's the front so far. Now we're gonna go into the inside and we're gonna glue this piece, but we're gonna stamp again in hydrangea hue. The best kind of days are days spent together. So like, that's me and my friend. We enjoy our days together. And here we are. First, we're in the front, sitting there. I'm probably the one eating. She's the one blowing on her dandelions. And then here is us walking into the coffee shop. Oops. How about that? Isn't that cute for a friend? And then I'm like, I really need to change my blade. I will do it as soon as we're done with this video, I promise. So that I don't get all that shavings. So now this is gonna go glued right inside. We're gonna have that little 1/8 inch border. And now here on the bottom is where this is gonna come. So if you have a 1 inch circle, it kind of doesn't matter if it's 1 inch, whatever side. If you wanna put a little notch in your pocket, just center it. I do just a little sliver, and we're only gonna add glue to the bottom and to the sides because we do not wanna glue our pocket all the way closed. And I didn't grab a Starbucks card. I should have grabbed another one. And that will go right inside there. And we are going to add some ribbon now to the front. Gotta add our embellishments. Ribbon. Here's my ribbon. And I should grab my tweezers right now. And I'm just gonna tie this in a knot. I didn't want to tie it in a bow. I felt like a knot was sufficient. I sometimes like the look of a knot. So my tweezers right here. Maybe go a little tighter. And I could have cut this off. I could have cut this off. These aren't even my ribbon scissors. Why didn't I grab my ribbon scissors? And there. And we're gonna tie our knot there. And let's get those in color dots. And our card is already going to be done. But how cool is this? A fancy pop-up gift card holder. So I'm going to add one here, two of the smallers over here, and a small one here. And you can keep working, I can keep working this ribbon and make sure that this knot gets correct. And I should have used my ribbon scissors because this doesn't look, it's kind of snagging. But I'll work it, or should I work it this way? Oh, that might have been the way to go. I was going the wrong way. And let me snip this one again, because this one is unraveling. And there's our card. How about that? Wouldn't your friend love that? And it's, you could put, let's get together for some coffee. See you soon or something. And then you're treating because you bought her the card. You're treating, but she could treat you with the card. All right, everybody, thank you for joining me. Let me zoom in a little bit so you could see those cards a little better. But let me know what you think. Will you be making this card? I enjoy making my fun folds with you all. And you have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.